Okay, welcome. So today's workshop is called, let me read it because I've forgotten, How to Quit Daily Drinking with Self-Hypnosis in 20 Minutes. Crazy, right? But I've done it. I've done it for myself and I've done it for my clients. So I am going to teach you two tools. One is the habit mapping worksheet, and two is how to write your own self-hypnosis. And today we're looking at particularly alcohol, but I'll run other workshops on other things. For example, reduce the desserts you eat, how much sugar you have, fears, phobias. There's all kinds of things that we can do with self-hypnosis. It's very powerful for lasting change. And the reason that I'm doing this is because about 3 weeks ago, I conducted a workshop, and that was how to learn self-hypnosis in 60 minutes, which is on my YouTube channel. And then it was watched by lots and lots of people, and lots of people contacted me and they said, can you do more of this kind of thing? And so I said, sure. So I've decided to take maybe one habit every week or couple of weeks, and I can talk you through how to do it. So today is going to be how to stop drinking alcohol. It's the daily habitual glass of wine at sunset, something like that. That was what I did on myself. And those of you that know me know that I use hypnosis on myself all the time, and it is a fundamental part of how I work with people. The reason for this is it talks directly to our subconscious, which does all the work for us. 95% of our behavior is driven from the unconscious and subconscious mind. Only 5% is from our cognitive mind. So if you're trying to change any habit, with your conscious mind. So that's just by saying, right, I'm not going to do this anymore, using willpower and determination. It won't last. That's why New Year's resolutions don't last. You've got to do the groundwork, the work that's under the cover with the subconscious. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. Because your life is based upon the choices that you make daily. And those choices become habits. And habits are useful because they're time saving and they're energy saving. However, they're 95% subconscious and unconscious. So many of them, some of them, you might want to change. And this is how we do it. And like I said, I have the things that I've used it for myself on is I've reduced my sugar intake. I've started drinking more herbal tea than coffee. I have stopped eating junk food. I have stopped drinking alcohol daily. Now I only drink socially. And then I'll only have one or maximum two glasses, where there was a point where I was kind of having two glasses every day. Um, what else have I done? Oh, fear of falling. So my handstands. I had a fear of falling out of my handstand. Flying, fear of flying. Oh, make myself feel stronger. So I wanted to feel stronger in the gym. Daily walks, my morning routine, so many things. And it's so powerful. Everyone needs to know this information. Okay, so there are two tools that you need. First of all, it's the habit mapping worksheet. And so I'm going to actually get my screen up now and talk you through how to use that. So what we're doing here is we're disrupting the current behavior. So if you want more information about this, I did write a book called Turbulence. It's available on Amazon. You can see it on my website. But for now, I'm going to tell you all the information that you need to know. So when we get curious about anything, we step out of our primitive survival cognitive patterns And that helps us reduce the emotional charge that's associated with thoughts and feelings. And this is where we've got some wiggle room for change. So it's an opportunity to cause some disruption to the pattern. So, like I said, my intention is I want to stop habitually drinking alcohol, and I'd like to just drink 1 or 2 drinks at social occasions, whether that's once a week or once a month, but whenever I choose. So this is the information that you've got to fill out for your intention. First of all, what is the unhealthy habit? So mine is having a glass or 2 of wine every evening at home. When does it show up? Usually at sunset or just before dinner or with dinner. How does the habit really make me feel? Now, this is very important to get to the real feelings. The real feelings meaning, not just in the moment feeling. Because in the moment of sipping the wine, it might be lovely, but we're talking about 10 minutes later, an hour later, 5 hours later, the next day. So dig deep into these feelings, because this is how we're going to change the reward value that is assigned by your prefrontal cortex and your orbital frontal cortex. So this is very important. So for me, the first sip or 2 is nice, but then I start to feel heavy, tired, guilty for pouring a glass and not sticking with my intention to not drink alcohol. I will usually eat more, so then I'll feel full and uncomfortable. I might have a second glass and then I feel sleepy and I feel dizzy. My sleep that night will not be quality sleep. I will wake up at least twice for the bathroom. I will be hot in the night, and the following day I will feel heavy, tired, and I may have a headache. So you just, it doesn't matter the grammar or anything like this. This is only you that's going to see it. But it's important that you really get familiar, like really analyze those feelings, the true feelings, not the surface feelings. So what is going to be my disruptor? So for this, I'm going to say, when I start to fancy the glass of wine, I'm just going to wait, create a little space. Don't pour it yet. We don't have to come in with lots of resistance, because that's where things could get tricky. So you just want to refrain for a little while. And then I'm suggesting that I remember my belief. I believe that the day starts with the night before. So then I'm recalling that one of my beliefs is that if I drink tonight, the chances are I'm going to ruin tomorrow, or at least ruin the morning. Then get curious about the feeling. Get curious about the feelings that are arising, tempting me to drink. And you would have, if you know my work, you would have known that curiosity, it can't live, or rather I should say fear, regret and anger can't live in the same space as curiosity. So curiosity is like a superpower you can bring to many situations. So I get curious about the feelings that are arising, tempting me to drink. Is it that I'm bored? Am I thirsty? Do I fancy something sweet? These are often the things for me. So instead of pouring the glass of wine, I'm going to pour a glass of sparkling water for now. And it could also be a tonic water, and I'm going to put some berries in there with some ice. And I'm just going to enjoy that first. And then I start to notice that I'm actually starting to feel good about making that decision. And notice that I haven't brought any resistance in. I haven't said, absolutely not, you're not going to have a glass of wine. I've just said, wait for a while, let's get curious. So then what will continue is that I won't have a glass of wine. I'll continue with my non-alcoholic evening. So then how does that make me feel? Well, when I have sparkling water or tonic water, I feel good. I feel really proud of myself. I feel clean, fresh and light. And I know that I will sleep well, and I do. And I wake the next day feeling fresh, light, healthy, and proud. I feel energized. So when you download this sheet, you will have an example there so that you can reference what I've written, but you can then fill in your own information. And this is very important. We're blending curiosity with feeling to change the reward value, that is how your PFC and your OFC, your prefrontal cortex and your orbital frontal cortex, work. And this creates a different reward hierarchy. I've gone into that in much more detail in another workshop that I'll put in the description of this workshop if you want to read more about how reward values, how the hierarchy is worked out subconsciously. What we want to do is feel the joy of positive change, repeat it, and then bring this exercise into our beliefs that it will work well for us. And we do that through hypnosis. So a lot of that is the next step that I'm going to show you now. Feel it, feel the feelings. Okay, now moving on to how you're going to write your self-hypnosis script. So first of all, what is hypnosis? It's a natural state of focused attention and heightened responsiveness to suggestion. Alpha or theta states of consciousness, of conscious awareness. So we're going to take ourselves into that alpha or theta state of conscious awareness. We actually all drift into these trance states many times a day. Children spend almost all of their waking day in the theta state until the age of 7 years old. And that's where the majority of our patterns of behaviour are created before we're even old enough to know about them, which is why so many problems exist. So self-hypnosis is intentionally inducing this state of consciousness to make use of its openness to suggestion. So there's 3 parts to creating your own self-hypnosis. First of all, we're going to do what's called resourcing, which I'll talk you through. And then once you've written your script, you record it, audio only, and then you replay it. And you replay it every day for the first week and about 4 times for the second week. And then you just sort of wean yourself off it after that. There's a few don'ts. So the subconscious mind doesn't process negation, meaning don't, directly. What it does is it has to create a visual of what you're telling it. So if you say don't have a glass of wine, what the subconscious will do is create a visual of a glass of wine, and it will just negate the word don't. So you're actually telling it to have a glass of wine. So don't use don't in your script. Also, don't underestimate the power of this tool. Don't exaggerate it. There's no need to make alcohol into a poison if you still want to enjoy wine. Don't use ChatGPT. Your own language is what's needed. It's very important. Your subconscious absolutely knows the language that you use. So don't use ChatGPT to write your script. And don't use it on others unless you are properly trained. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and I'm properly trained. And what I'm sharing with you is how to write your own script, not other people's. Okay, so there's 7 parts to the script writing. First, you need to set your intention. Then you have an induction, and then you have a deepening. The text in black I've already written for you, so you only have to fill in the orange. Then we do what's called utilization or resourcing. So you draw on the qualities that you have already. 5 is suggestion or reframing. So this is the intervention part. 6 is future pacing, rehearsal. And 7 is reorientation, coming out of the trance. That at the moment will probably be very confusing. Stick with it because all will be made clear. So first of all, set your intention. Decide clearly what you want this session to support. Keep it simple and specific. So today's example is, I want to stop drinking my daily habit of drinking wine at home. That's what we're doing today. The next is utilization or resourcing. So this is about looking at the problem space. So wine at 6 p.m. or daily drinking of wine is the problem. But outside of that space, I have a lot of resources that I can bring in to the script that will convince my subconscious that I can do this. I can stop drinking alcohol. So first of all, is there any belief that you can flip? So for example, if I'm drinking alcohol every day, is it because I think evenings without wine is boring? So you can flip that. So I'll show you what that looks like on the script in a little bit. Also, from your habit mapping worksheet that we've already completed, find out what is your disruptor. So if you remember, my disruptor was a glass of sparkling water or tonic with berries. Also from the habit mapping worksheet, when I wake up the next morning after not having the wine, I feel clean, fresh, energized and proud. So I got that from habit mapping. So you also need a past reflection. Think about when the problem isn't a problem. So for me, 10 years ago, I didn't drink wine daily. And I don't drink wine when I have, for example, a handstand class. So what are the exceptions to the problem? So these are 2 exceptions. And then positive reinforcement. So when you imagine someone else you admire or a mentor, how would that person handle 6 p.m? Would they drink? You know, you can use other people's resources if you respect them. You can think about what they would be doing outside of the problem space. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the downloadable form that you're going to get, which is the script, and I'm going to show you how to fill that in. So this is your self-hypnosis script that you can get by clicking the link in the description for the forms that accompany this workshop. So first of all, you need to fill in your intention. So mine was quitting the daily alcohol at 6 p.m, something like that. And then you get ready the resourcing, the answers to the resourcing that we did. That's what I just showed you. What belief can you flip? Recall a past reflection of when the problem wasn't a problem. Give a positive reinforcement. And then from the habit mapping worksheet, you want your disruptor and your positive feeling. So that's what you need to get ready. And then if you want more information about what those are, I've put examples here. So I'll let you read that and it will make sense. And then we come down to the actual script. So like I said to you, I've already written the induction for you. So this you just need to leave like that. And when you come to record the hypnosis, you will read this. Obviously, when you record it, you don't read that part, but you read this. And then deepening, so taking you into a theta state, you read out this. And then here's the utilization. So I've made it very easy for you. You will see my script here. And you have to just replace this with your own words. So this is the past reflection. So remember, past reflection is here. Past reflection. Recall when the problem wasn't a problem. So insert your past reflection here. Insert your belief flip here. Your positive reinforcement here. The positive feeling from your habit mapping worksheet here. And another positive reinforcement. And then suggestion reframing. So this is turning resources into suggestions. Again, just read what I have written and enter your own information in here. Again, here, read what I have written. It's self-explanatory. Put your own information here. And then coming out of trance, just leave this. This is what you need to leave. I've done that for you. So what you're then going to do is, once you've put your information in these highlighted parts, then you've got your script. Then you read from here. Now, you want to slow your voice down. So I'm going to read these 2 sentences in my hypnotic voice. Sit in a comfortable position and take a long, deep breath. And when you're ready, close your eyes. Let everything go. That's right. Drifting off into no place in particular. I'm giving myself permission to be exactly who I am here at this moment, any way I choose. So you can see from that I've really slowed my voice down. So again, you just read it. Don't read the headings, you just read the text. Read everything and record it to an audio. So I hope that was really useful, and I would love to hear your feedback. Please tell me in the comments or get in contact with me. Please share this with anyone that you think will find it useful. It's so powerful, and this is free for you. We can all change habits, and it lasts. I mean, I did that hypnosis for myself a couple of years ago. I do not drink every day anymore. And like I said, I've used it for lots of things. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, but what you need to do is you need to record that script and to your iPhone or something, and then you need to listen to it every day for a week. And then the second week, listen to it about 4 or 5 times that week. And then the third week, a couple of times until you've broken the habit. And be kind to yourself and be curious about what's happening. And if you would like help one-to-one with any habits, or in fact doing anything that you say you want to do and you're just not doing it, then consider my Rapid Rewire package. It's very affordable. It's £250 and it's 2 sessions and done. It has worked for so many people. I've had such wonderful feedback, and I would love to help you do what you say you want to do. I'll put the link for that Rapid Rewire below. Okay, thanks a lot. Stay in touch.